give praise, esteem, and honor to the Most High Yah by way of Yahushua HaMashiach. John 5:39, man. Let's roll. John 5:39.
I got it. It says, search the scriptures, for in them you think you have eternal life, and they are they which testify of me. And you will not come to me that you might have life. I receive not honor from men, but I know you that you have not the love of Elohim in you. I come in my Father's name, you receive me not. If another should come in his own name, him ye will receive. How can you believe which receive honor one from another, and seek not the honor that comes from Elohim only?
Pause. I'm going to deal with this point that he just hit because we talked about it last night, right? Who remembers what it meant to repair the breaches? Clearly no one. You know what I'm saying? When he was talking about repairing the breaches, he was talking about strengthening the things that separated you from Elohim. Did anybody remember some of the things that we read last night that separates you from Elohim? Clearly not. Yeah, I don't want a chapter. I need specifics. That's too general. That's too broad. You can just throw that out there, and you ain't really told me that. I know it, but see, I'm trying to pull back your memory skill, or you remembering what's there.
Mark.
Because the reason why I tell you that there, because that's how a nigga walk up and pull the fast one and the 42 fake out on the nigga, because nigga tell you it's in this particular chapter and it's all there, and you don't know exactly what's there. And nigga tell you anything just by painting that broad brush. You know, I tell you that all the time. You need to be specific and not broad and general. So that's how you get to see. You know what I'm saying? That's how you get to see. In all seriousness, though, that's how you get to see when you paint it broad, because you need to know what it's saying. That's the reason what he talking about. That's why the man had the ruach, because he knew what it said. You ain't got to sit back and tell me book, chapter, and verse. Please, you got cheese on your hands. Please. Thank you. You know what I'm saying? Just think about that. What's one of the things, because we read 3 different locations about what separate. Because when he talking about intermeddling with wisdom, the reason why I mention this here, because you read that in Genesis 3, she said, this tree is one to make one wise. You know what I'm saying? So, the desire for wisdom is just not the only thing. What are the things that people desire that cause them to be separated from Yahuwah?
Pride.
Let's go ahead and hit him with something. I'm going to run it all down before we depart. Give me Proverbs chapter 6 and verse 16, though. And you're going to see some of the things that cause people to be separated. And I believe someone's at the door. Proverbs 6 and 16. And I was correct.
It says, these 6 things does Yahuwah hate, yet 7 are abomination unto him.
What's the first one?
A proud look.
Pause. Now give me James chapter 5. And give me about verse 5. My apologies, James chapter 4. And pick me up about verse 4. See, pride is something that's what people intermeddle with. Who intermeddle with pride that caused them to be separated from Yahuwah? Who can y'all think of that intermeddle with pride and it caused him to be separated from Yahuwah? Saul is an individual that intermeddled with pride. And what was the cause of his pride? Henry, you ain't been shot. What was the cause of his pride? What caused him to separate us? What was the initial cause of his pride? Oh, we could have got it for you. You got a load on that for you. We could have got it for you. That's a big boy.
He was told that to go talk to people that do that witchcraft stuff.
Yeah, he had already been cut off at that point. That David was greater than him, and his pride rose up. You know what I'm saying? You know how clown. They say what? Lamar bring about who? Musha bring about what? That with pride. And
Musha bring about the 10,000.
And that's what he was looking at. They say that Saul do 10,000s, about 1,000, but David do 10, and his pride welled up because he sit back looking at. He couldn't look at this man was his equal, and they were doing something for the benefit of the praise of Yahuwah. He thought about himself, so he intermeddled with that, and that began his separation from Yahuwah. Do you know what I'm saying? You have to sit back and look at that. You have to look at what people did, how it caused them to separate. What caused Ahab to get separated? It was his pride. You think he wanted to hear somebody tell him your wife is a wicked whore? Not a whore in the traditional sense of sleeping with multiple men, but a spiritual whore. Because she got Baal worship going on. She got whatever worship going on. Do you know what I'm saying? Can you think of anybody else who allowed pride to separate them from Yahuwah? It's one person you should know very quite clearly. You've been told about him your entire life.
You say Esau?
Yeah, him too. But you quote the nigga sayings in the street.
Cain?
Cain allowed pride. He intermeddled with that. That caused him to be separated from Yahuwah. Give him the next one, man.
A lying tongue.
A liar. You know what I'm saying? Huh? Oh, that nigga ain't even read it. He just lied to y'all.
I ain't lying. What it say?
That's what it said. He guessed he got it right. A lying tongue. These are things, and what do liars deal with? Liars deal with things that are not true. Let's look at John 8:44. John 8:44. And now you see another thing we'll call, because now you see the serpent. He intermeddled with lies that what got him separated from you. He cursed him to go upon his belly his entire life. He would curse because he intermeddled with that. He fooled with lies. He fooled with not telling the truth. Come on, John 8:44.
It says, ye are of your father the devil.
Yeah.
The lust of your father you will do.
What up?
He was a murderer from the beginning.
What up?
And abode not in truth.
He ain't abiding the truth
Because there is no truth in him.
because he can't do it.
When he speak a lie, he speaketh of his own.
He speak of his
For
own.
he is a liar and a father of
And
it.
it's a lot of people in their word that's what they intermingle with. You can see an example of that. What got that man Yehuda separated in 1 Kings 13? Because he meddled with a liar. Because that prophet came and told him, I am a prophet as you are. Sit down and eat and drink with me. When Yah told him specifically, don't you sit your black behind in here and do none of that. Take your butt back that way. He intermeddled with that wisdom. It caused him to be separated from Yahuwah. They want to talk about actually looking and seeing, don't make these mistakes. Give him the next one in Proverbs chapter 6.
Hands quick to spread mischief.
Go ahead.
Hands are quick to shed innocent blood.
Hands, that's what I say. You got a little hair yourself. Hands quick to shed innocent blood. We just mentioned one. Cain was willing to do it. Guess who else was willing to do it? Saul was willing to do it. Guess who else did it? They did it to Amasa. They did it to Abner. That was Joab. Killed both of those men. That was innocent blood. He intermeddled with that. What caused him to intermeddle with that? Wrath. That's why the book said, give me James 1:21. Make it 1:18. We still got to read James 4 and 3. So after you read that James 1:18, because we over there, go on to swing to the 4th chapter.
1:18. Of his own will begat he us the word of truth, that we should be a kind of first fruits of his creatures. Wherefore, my beloved brethren, let every man be swift to hear, slow to speak, and slow to wrath.
Slow to what?
Slow to wrath.
Slow to what?
Slow to wrath.
Why?
For the wrath of a man worketh not righteousness of Elohim.
That don't work the righteousness of Elohim. Cain worked that. Saul worked that. They intermeddled with anger and wrath. That's why the book tells you be angry and sin not and put those things away. It don't work the righteousness of Elohim. So you intermeddling with that, it will cause you to be separated. The book of Proverbs say, anger rests in the bosom of a fool. You know what I'm saying? So you can get angry, but it's when your anger dictates your thoughts and then therefore dictates your actions. Now you've shown yourself to be a fool because you're devoid of wisdom. Come on to James chapter 4, man. Give me verse 2 instead.
It says, ye lust and have not.
You what?
Ye lust and have not.
So you desire wisdom, you don't have it though.
Ye kill and desire to have.
You kill and you desire to have.
And cannot obtain.
You can't get it.
Ye fight in war, yet ye have not because ye ask not.
See what he told you? That's the same thing. You fighting and you won and you don't have it because you don't ask for it. But what did he tell him though?
He said ye don't know. It said ye ask and receive not because ye ask amiss.
You ask a what?
Amiss.
You know what it means to ask amiss, right? Y'all familiar with the word amiss and what it means? You asking for the wrong thing. You worried and concerned about the wrong thing. That's what we were talking about earlier before y'all came in here. A nigga be online, oh, where's my virtuous queen at? I want to be, you worried about the wrong thing. You know what I'm saying? If you ain't got your mind, if you ain't even set yourself up to be a man that can be a wife to your husband, how you going to be a husband to somebody else? That's going to be impossible. You worrying about the wrong thing. Everybody be worrying about the wrong thing, and you ask this man for the wrong thing, and then you feel like, oh, he ain't real, he ain't answer my prayer. He ain't gave it to you because you ain't going to do nothing but go to hell with it. You know what I'm saying? That's one of the things that you have to be careful about when you turn around and you ask this man for certain things and you know mentally and emotionally and spiritually you're not prepared for it. Because when you get it, he might give you that so you can go to hell, or you might learn to sit your black behind down and worry about him. You know what I'm saying? There's a lot of people I know that they done got husbands and wives for them to go to hell. Do you know what I'm saying? Because I want that to take you to hell because you don't know how to handle that. You weren't prepared for that. Here, you can have it. Some people wanted riches, and he went ahead and he gave it to them. You go ahead and take this nice car and this house and this job and this money because I want you to go to hell with it. That's why he told you when you say, oh, if you would have did what I said, you would have been straight. But he said, I'm going to give you over to your own heart, see what your end going to be. So that what you wanted, go ahead and give it to him. Certain things, you should be happy he don't give it to you. Certain things, if they be removed, you should be happy he takes them. But you know what Yashar'al like to do? Chase after it. You know what I'm saying? He kicked the nations out the land, and what did you do? You chased it after them. I want your gods. I want your wives. I want your husbands. And guess what happened? We in Jacksonville, Florida, had this conversation dealing with some silly crackers in Virginia, tearing stuff up because they want you to leave. Because you around here worrying about some old peanut head white man in Washington, D.C. talking about make America great. Now you worry about the police shooting you down in the street. You know what I'm saying? Because you wanted to be like the nations. And he said when you became like the nations, you did worse than them. That's the bad part. You had to look at it. Everything he said them people did, he said you did worse than them. So if they were in bestiality, you were worse than them. If they were in idolatry, you were worse than them. If they committed adultery, you were worse than them. If they lied and stole and broke the Sabbath and coveted, you were worse than them. That is nothing to be proud of. And if we look at our people right now, white people are bad. Asian people are bad. Arab people are bad. Black people are worse. You know why we worse? Because we do the stuff and don't like to talk about it. You know, we be quick to say, oh, pedophilia, that's a white people thing. There's probably more pedophiles and niggas than anybody. They don't like to talk about it. You know what I'm saying? They don't like to talk about it. Guess what? Niggas been punks for years. Who they blame homosexuality on? We learned that from the white man. Nigga, you been a punk. You been a lesbian. You mean to tell me all of a sudden you weren't a man because you ran into a Greek? What book were you reading? There were black people in Sodom and Gomorrah. Do you know what I'm saying? Those were Benjamites that tried to rape that woman in the book of Judges. Rape that man. Those were Benjamites. There wasn't no Greeks. There wasn't no Greeks right there, boy. There was not no Greek talking about, hey, Mr. Man. No, them was your people. Oh, you learned murder from the white man. Shoot, let me tell you, I learned murder from Cain. That's the first thing to kill somebody if you don't want to count the serpent. Where Saul learned murder from? Because he sure wanted to kill David. Where he learned that from? You know what I'm saying? We like to sweep everything up under the rug and blame the nations. You just as wicked as them. And what make you more wicked, you had the oracles. They just was wicked on general principle. You had it and was wicked. That's what he was talking about. How you get immersed to be wicked afterwards. You ought to go to hell for it. Because you got something somebody else ain't got. You know what I'm saying? He took the time to just draw you to it and say, you know what? Come die with me. You ain't no different than your ancestors that crossed the Red Sea and turned right back around and say, we got two golden calves. This is Yahuwah. We're brought up out of Mizraim. That's how that is. So ain't nobody going to tell you that. Because they going to tell you what your man say. You know your worth. You ain't got no worth. You ain't got Yahuwah. You have no worth whatsoever. You are worth absolutely nothing. If you don't have Yahuwah, what worth do you have? What value do you really have? You are a dead man walking. You have no redemption. You nothing. You're waiting to leave here. Especially if you say you're a man or woman of God, how could you find value in a sinner? How is that possible? That's not possible. Where we at? James chapter 4? Keep on going.
We at chapter 4, verse 5.
Go ahead. We in verse 5. You in verse 4. Yeah, I already know.
It says, ye adulterers and adulteresses, know ye not that the friendship of the world is enmity with Elohim?
That's hatred. Did he not tell you that he hated all these nations because of what they did in the law? Give me Judges chapter 2 real fast, man, so you can see how that is. That's friendship with the nations or the world is hatred with Elohim. He don't care for that. And the only reason why he don't care for it is just what we read in Kings. It will pull your heart away. It'll pull your heart away. See, a lot of times y'all think when a nigga tell you, man, y'all, you should consider about fooling with this type of person. You think somebody trying to tell you how to live your life. No, y'all trying to tell you what not to do so you don't get removed from him. Because that's where his concern is at. That's where my concern is at. Is that you don't get, I don't care who you around. I don't care who you marry. I don't care who you talk to. I only care when it's going to cause you to stumble and commit sin. Other than that, if they're not going to cause you to stumble and commit sin, I don't give two Londons. They ain't got nothing to do with me. Do you know what I'm saying? But if it go to causing you to commit sin, then that's a problem, because your Elohim has a problem with it, because he doesn't want your heart to be turned away. It's too many examples of this book of people being turned away by whomever. It just necessarily got to be no woman. You know what I'm talking about? If friends on friends, rulers, priests, prophets were all turning these people's hearts away. You know what I'm saying? And intentionally doing it. Korah was intentionally trying to call these people to turn away from Yahuwah so he could get some shine. See, he was intermeddling with pride. That's why he got separated from Yahuwah. He was intermeddling with, we hadn't read it yet, feet swift to devise wicked imaginations. And that caused him to be separated from Yahuwah. Y'all know what happened to Korah, right? You know what happened to him, right? He fell in a ditch. Earth swallowed him up whole. Whole. You know what I'm saying? So that's why the book say everything written aforetime was written for your learning. See, we only want to look at the positive stuff, and you don't want to look at the stuff that, truth be told, though it may seem to be a negative, is in reality a positive. It's in reality a positive, because you learn what not to do so you can be in the positive and not the negative. That's why I told you yesterday, you can't be built up unless you're destroyed first. Before Hamashiach was built up and became the son of Elohim and resurrected, that fleshly body had to be destroyed. It had to be destroyed. But you live in a society and a culture that say build everybody up, don't tear them down, don't tell people what they need to hear, make them feel good, and try to mix right with wrong together, and you can just sort it out in the mix, and you wonder why nobody ever elevates into anything. It doesn't. Life does not operate that way. You don't do your children like that. If they do something wrong, you finna destroy their black behind so they can get it right. You're going to beat the brakes up off of them. However you choose to do it, however you choose to chastise and reprimand them, you're going to do that because you're trying to destroy the negative behavior and then reinforce why you did it, and then give the exemplary example of positive behavior. This is what you're supposed to do. This is why I bust you upside your head, because you did not do what you were supposed to do. Do you know what I'm saying? But that's what we want. Don't tear me down. That hurt my feelings. Who cares about your feelings? Your feelings why you going to hell. Because I feel this. I think this. When you say your feelings, you're talking about your carnal nature, your carnal mind. Your flesh is trying to kill you. Your flesh is contrary to the word. It's contrary to the Ruach Elohim. It's trying to kill you. You can't be concerned with it. Come on, man.
Judges chapter
2 and verse 1.
It say, and the Malachim of Yahuwah came up from Gilgal to Bochim and said, I made you to go up out of Mizraim.
He made you to do what?
Go up out of Mizraim.
What is Mizraim symbolic of? Sin. I made you to come up out of sin. That's what he referred to by being immersed. I have made you to come up out of bondage. Go ahead.
It says, and have brought you into the land which I swear unto your fathers, and said, I will never break my covenant with you, and ye shall make no league with the inhabitants of this land.
Break no friendship with the who?
With the inhabitants of this land.
Don't have no friendship with the world.
Ye shall throw down their altars.
Tear it down.
But ye have not obeyed my voice.
You have not done what I told you.
Why have you done this?
Why have you done this? Go back to James 4. That's why he say friendship with the world is enmity with Elohim. Whoever be a friend of the world is an enemy of Elohim. All the nations were his enemies because they were against his ways and his judgments. And then we turn around and we make leagues with these people. Now we make ourselves his enemy. And why would we make ourselves his enemy? And we making ourselves his enemy because we're intermeddling with our desire is to be like the nations. We asked for a king because the nations had one. That's why we asked for one. We didn't ask for a king because we just felt like that was necessary to lead the people. The people around you had one, so you wanted to be like them. You inquired about how they worship their gods because your God already told you how to worship him, and you said, I want to do it like they do it. Fooling with them. And then you call yourself trying to be an example to somebody, and then you are just like them. How can you be an example to a sinner if you're intermeddled with sin along with them? You didn't call nobody out. Niggas came out there and said that too. Come to talk to a woman about y'all and try to slide in her vagina 10 minutes later. How that's gonna work? How that gonna work? I'm gonna talk to you about y'all and then be like this here, so yeah, you know, you gonna get naked or what? Now how's this woman gonna even believe anything about your God after that? You know what I'm saying? Yeah, boy. You know God is good, boy. I'm finna rob the liquor store. You down? You know what I'm saying? So when people see that, they feel like the book ain't true. And that based off of you. That go back to what he tell you. Don't have his name blasphemed. And that's what I go back to told you last night. Do not ask or expect someone to be something that you have not done yourself. Don't expect a woman to be a righteous woman and you're not a righteous man. Don't have that level of expectation for her and you have not met that expectation yourself. Don't look at that man and say be a righteous man and you're not a righteous woman. Don't try to hold that man to an expectation that you have not met yourself or that you're not even diligently trying to meet. And I don't care on what level. Don't sit there and look at your mama and your daddy and feel like you can size them any kind of way because you know you're an Israelite or you know this and you're not meeting that expectation yourself. You're no different than them. That's not just nor equitable nor righteous at all. If we were to sit back and say judge that, how many would y'all judge that as being just? That you want to hold someone to an expectation that you are not striving nor meeting yourself. Could we judge that to be a righteous matter? Or would we judge that to be iniquity? Huh?
There's only one thing I can think of.
What's that?
Like some sort of sport or something like that.
A sport?
Yeah.
What you mean?
Like, you want the potential for somebody else that you can't achieve yourself.
Yeah, I mean,
you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of people like that. Some people do their kids like that if their kids have some type of talent.
Yeah.
They try to do certain things to their kids to achieve something that they couldn't do themselves. Trying to live vicariously through their child. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes you just got to bust your child upside the head because you know they have talent and ability and you're trying to push them to maximize themselves. So, you know, it depends on the situation and circumstance because every situation somebody pushing their child is not because they're trying to live through their child. They see that their child has a talent and ability and they have to learn the value of hard work to be able to make that be manifest. See, we feel like, oh, you shouldn't let a child be a child, but they need to learn hard work and discipline before they get grown so they can apply it. But you got to make sure that that's what that child wants to do. Sometimes children get put in music or sports or whatever, and that's not really what that child wants to do. And they really, I know that's what they say about Snoop. That's what Snoop Dogg's son said when he dropped out of, quit the UCLA football team. He said he had no desire to play football. He said he was only doing it for his daddy. Do you know what I'm saying? Didn't have a desire to do it. You know what I'm saying? I wouldn't want my son to play football just because I want him to play. I want you to play. You don't want to play, go do what you want to do. You know what I'm saying?
Do it to the best of your ability.
Yeah, I don't care what you do. As long as you ain't around here pimping or tricking, I don't care what you do. Don't sell no drugs either.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? As long as you ain't doing nothing illegal, son, I don't care what you do. Oh yeah, don't be drag queening either. I've seen a little boy talking about little boy talking about he 8 years old talking about if your parents won't let you be a drag queen, you need new parents. I sure need a new son because you can't live here. I'm definitely gonna put you out. Then I come home and talk about your name, Letitia. You don't get your sister behind up out of here, boy.
They call me Letitia.
That's what he said, though, ain't it? That's what the little white boy said. My name. He said the first part of it is when he says what's in the caption. And then after that, it's other drag queens talking to him. And they say, we just want to applaud your mother because she's here supporting you. Somebody take his mama, hang her from a tree. That's the same way, whatever that famous white woman is, got her adopted black son, walk around here with dresses on. Somebody take that white woman and hang her from a tree. You don't dare take no Israelite baby and put him in no dress. If you want to do that stuff with your children.
Yeah, but that's all right.
Go ahead and do that with your children. Don't do that with ours, man. Yeah, don't do it with ours now. Guess what though? I seen the brother say something real talk though. You got all these niggas talking about they want multiple wives to build a nation, and you got all these fatherless children, and you ain't going to see about building no nation with none of them. And I ain't even talking about fatherless children who just they daddies ain't with their mama or dealing with their mama. I'm talking about orphanage children. I'm talking about in the system. I'm talking about you building a nation. You already got a nation. You don't need to put your penis in multiple women to build no nation. We got plenty of children around here. You know what I'm saying? It plenty of, you go to children home on Spring Park right now. It plenty of children around there right now need a daddy. You know what I'm saying? You know you can build a nation with a woman, be a father to a child without actually being with her and putting your penis in her. You know what I'm saying? I don't know why them niggas don't feel that I need 5 wives to build a nation. Nigga, stop lying, boy. You trying to build 5 wives to get your little thing off and then leave these women with these children and go find you another. That's what you're trying to do. Then
they say they'll figure it out.
They'll figure it out. Try to hit a nigga with this. See, you've been westernized. I know, nigga, you've been niggerized. I know what you doing. I know what you doing. You just a whore. That's all. Tell somebody else that nonsense. I bet you wouldn't want your sister with a nigga doing her like that. Bet you wouldn't want nobody doing your mama like that. Lying bastard. Come on, man.
Come on, man.
For real though. Give it to him.
It says we at James chapter 4 verse 5.
What'd he say?
It says, do ye think that the scripture saith in vain?
You think it's safe for nothing?
That the ruach that dwelleth in us leadeth lusteth to envy?
Yes, sir.
But ye giveth more grace. Therefore he said, Elohim resisteth the proud, but giveth favor unto the humble.
That's why he sit back and says, that's why you can't intermeddle with the wisdom, because when you decide to do what you want to do and deal with sin, you showing yourself to be proud because you can't humble yourself under his authority. You know what I'm saying? See, we don't have enough time to hit them all like we did, because y'all know what it says in Galatians. But give me Galatians 5 and 13 though. Whether it's the sowing discord among brethren, you know what I'm saying, bearing false witness, these things are rooted in pride because you refuse to submit to this man's authority. That's why he say that he take the wise in their own craftiness. See, people intermeddle with the things that want to, whether it's lust, whether it's lasciviousness, whether it's maliciousness, whether it's spite, whether it's men being haters of those that are good, whether you lovers of your own self, whether you're a truce breaker, a covenant breaker, whether you lack understanding, all of these things you intermeddling with, and it keep you separated from Elohim. Because if you separated from wisdom, that means you separated from warfare. If you separated from warfare, that means you don't know how to battle. And if you don't know how to battle, Satan gonna get you. And get what you gonna be do? Hanging out and firing worms with him. Talking about, do you got a pineapple Mai Tai? Anybody got a fan? It's hot in here. You know what I'm saying? Think about that. Think about that. You know what I'm saying? What are you fooling with? Because you got to sit back and look at on the micro level. What are you fooling with that's gonna separate you from Elohim? Who are you fooling with that's gonna separate you from Elohim? And are they worth it? Are they worth going to hell for? You know what I'm saying? See, the most difficult, how hard did you think it was for them people during the time of Nehemiah to get rid of their wives and their kids? You think they didn't love and care about them people? But they knew that intermeddling with these people would cause them to be cut off after Yah had given them such a deliverance as this, as delivering them from captivity. So they had to make that hard decision of discarding people whom they loved and cared about. I'm not telling you that it's easy, but you might have to do it at some point in your service to Yahuwah. I'm not telling you it's going to be easy. I'm not telling you it's going to feel good. You know what I'm saying? I'm not telling you to look forward to it either. You know what I'm saying? But it is a reality. It is a reality. It is something that you may have to do. You know the difficult thing in the world, to cut off somebody you love for your soul love. You ain't talking about cutting somebody off because somebody don't, like how some niggas do want to isolate you from your parents. I don't want my woman to talk to her mom and her daddy or sister or brothers or friends. Some women do it too. I don't want you to hang out with your friends. I don't like them. Or I don't like your mama. So you know what I'm saying? You have to sit back and look at, does this person gonna cause me to go to hell? And I don't care who they is, you got to go. You got to go. You know what I'm saying? That type of decision. Not, I just don't like them or I don't want you to be around them. That's the decision you have to make. Is me dealing with them, will it cost me my life? I guarantee if you was hanging out in the streets in the world on a natural sense and you felt like somebody would risk your life for freedom, you would stop hanging with them. But when it comes to your soul, you make excuses. But that's my daddy though. That's my friend. But your friend gonna take you to the place you don't want to go. So how much are they your friend? How much really are they your family? Especially if they know, even if they not knowingly doing it. Why would you risk your own life if you say the Lamb? This man told you in John chapter 12. He said, "Well, I am. My Father will be. My servants will be also." So if the people that you're dealing with and the places that you're going, if he is not there, then you're not going to be where he at. You're going to be where they going. Because you already showing what's in your heart, what your desire. Because you can't mix wool and linen, you can't mix seeds. The carnal seed, they said the woman's seed and the serpent seed are enmity against one another. You can't cross-pollinate. You might can in the lab, you can't with Yahuwah though. Galatians 5 and make it 12. And then I got to stop on that. 5 and 12.
It says, I would they were even cut off which trouble you.
What he said? He said he would cut off who?
Even cut off them.
Give him verse 11. Listen what he told you. Listen what he
And
said.
I, brethren, if I yet preach circumcision,
If I preach what?
circumcision,
What else?
why do I yet suffer persecution?
He said, why? He said, if I preach to Yahudim that we the people, why am I being persecuted?
Then the offense is the state ceased. Of the state ceased.
Then he said the offense of actually dying for Mashiach stops.
I would they were even cut off, which trouble you.
That man say he would that anybody who's troubling your soul to cause you to be cut off or persecuting you in any shape, form, or fashion, he will hope they were cut off like Korah was, like Saul was. Those people were cut off.
For brother, you have been called to liberty.
You've been called to what? Freedom.
Only use not freedom for an occasion to the flesh, but by love serve one another.
That man say don't use your freedom. That's what happened when they, and the example is, we didn't went over this in the past. The example is that is when they came up out of Mizraim. They were called to freedom, and they used that freedom as a chance to say, we want cucumbers, leeks, and melons. We ain't got no water. We ain't got no bread. And then without love, they didn't serve each other. Because if you say you love Yahuwah, then you supposed to love the people who say they love him too, even if they actually don't. See, you know what our biggest problem is? We allow what other people do to dictate how you serve y'all. If somebody wicked, right, and they say they serve y'all, and they doing you wrong or whatever the case may be, you supposed to do them right, because you're gonna be heaping coals of fire on their head. We done already talked about this. The only time you supposed to cut somebody off in this word is if, what does Matthew 18 say? He say, go to your brother and win your brother, just like Proverbs say. He say, go debate your cause with your neighbor to win your neighbor. Then he say, if they don't want to hear you, he say, go get 2 or 3 witnesses that the matter might be established. He say, if they don't want to hear that, then he say, bring him in front of the whole congregation. And if they don't want to hear them, then he said, treat him like a heathen man in the publican. We don't follow that process. We follow the process of what the world say do. Nigga do something I don't like, I am leaving him alone. I'm gonna cut you off. You know what's funny? We'll cut off niggas in the word supposed to be quicker than you'll cut off a nigga in the world. You know what I'm saying? Because this is what the law was supposed to be teaching you. You're supposed to have longer patience with those who are of the household of Yashar'al than you're supposed to have with a sinner. You weren't supposed to have that long patience with a Canaanite. You weren't supposed to have that long patience with a Jebusite or a Hittite. But he told you don't bear no grudge against your neighbor. You know what I'm talking about? He told you to debate your cause with your neighbor. He told you to go win your brother. You know what I'm saying? He told you to be long-suffering because you were long-suffering towards him. You know what I'm saying? I done had, truth be told, and we done already had a conversation, I ain't really had no issues with too many people. Honestly, because a nigga ain't never done nothing directly to me. When a nigga did something directly to me, I let that be known. We already talked about this here. How a nigga kick their game, that ain't really got nothing to do with me. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, like directly, nigga hasn't done anything to me. You know what I'm saying? What I put it this way: people perceive that certain people do something and they think I might be mad about it. You know what I'm talking about? Or I got a problem with it. Cause we had that discussion before. They say, "Oh, you was mad with me." I'm like, "Nigga, I wasn't mad with you. You didn't do nothing to me." But when we had the opportunity, when he did something to me, did we not tell it? The difference is I might tell you, and then I'm gonna tell you when I see you. Cause I can't think. It's only a handful of people done something to me. Like directly, I did something like, "Hey, I didn't like that." Truth be told, ain't nobody really did nothing to me. I just don't like the way you move. But that ain't got nothing to do with me though.
You got it.
Do you know what I'm saying? Go ahead.
We had Galatians 5.
But you have to remember that's what he means when he talking about loving and serving one another. You know what I'm saying? Because a lot of the time, I want to tell you, like, we'll be, and I've been saying that period, because I ain't just talking about with us, because I see this all across when you deal with Bruce. Bruce be quicker to reconcile with somebody outside the word than to reconcile with somebody inside the word. You know what I'm saying? You should be quicker to reconcile with somebody inside the word versus somebody outside the house. We don't have that same long suffering and patience with those who are in the word than with people outside of it. And that ain't how it's supposed to be. You know what I'm saying? That ain't how it's supposed to be. Go ahead.
We had Galatians 5. verse.
You in verse 14.
It said, "For all the laws fulfilled in one word,
What's
even
that?
in this,
What's that?
that thou shalt love thy neighbor as thyself. But if ye bite and devour one another, take heed that ye be not consumed one of another. This I say then, walk in the ruach, and ye shall not fulfill the lust of the flesh."
And that's what he was sitting there talking about. That's like what Saul was doing with David, or like the people tried to do with Samson. They were killing each other. They were fighting against each other. It caused them to be wrapped up in the flesh. They couldn't walk with the ruach, so they couldn't do the things that they ought, because they were intermeddling with their desires. I'm mad because Samson did this to these people, so we want to take them to the people and get them killed. I'm mad because the people love David more than they love me. The scribes and Pharisees were mad at the Mashiach because the people viewed him as a prophet, and he spoke as one having authority, and he had a knowledge and wisdom and understanding that they didn't possess. So they were mad. So they wanted to devour him and take him down. A lot of time when you see people bite and devour other people in the word, it's because they are envious or jealous of something that that person possesses that they don't possess. You know what I'm saying? When they took Yahusha down, they was mad because of what he possessed. It had nothing to do with him per se personally. They just were mad. Who he think he is. I can do what he do. That's what Korah was. I can do what Moses do. I'm set apart like Moses is. Well, you know what I'm saying? Not looking at the fact, but y'all didn't put you where Moses is. Why don't you just play your role and get your esteem in the role you in? But everybody want to be in everybody's role. Everybody want to be Moses when you just might not need to be Moses. You might need to be Aaron. You know what I'm saying? And you might not need to be Aaron. You might need to be a doorkeeper. You might not need to be a doorkeeper. You might just need to sit in your tent till and occupy till he come. You know what I'm saying? And that's the problem. Everybody, I want to be there. Nobody asked you what you want. No man in this book wanted to be in any position that he was in. Y'all put him there. Even the men who were ordained to be elders and teachers and preachers by men, y'all put them there. Because he had to place them in the position to come across the men who would teach them to do it. Nobody don't want to do that. You know what I'm saying? Most of the people you see in this book that were put in a position, they tried to get out of it. Moses tried to get out of it to the point he caused Yahuwah to be mad. Ain't that what it is? That's what it's in, right? Oh, I'm slow of speech. Oh, get somebody else. He didn't want to do it. And you found out later why he didn't want to do it. This is a stubborn, stiff-necked people. Period. You know what I'm saying? They'll kill you. They'll throw dirt on your name. You know what I'm talking about? They'll lie on you. They'll do all manner of stuff, and you here for them. And guess what a nigga want to do? Shoot, I can preach too. I'm Korah. He's set apart too. Or pull like what Miriam pulled. Did he not only speak through us? Ain't that what Aaron did? Worry about the wrong thing. Why don't you play your spot? Aaron, you the high priest. Miriam, you a prophetess. What's wrong with your spot? Why you want his spot? Maybe did you even consider that you might not even have the wherewithal and skill to handle his spot, and that's why he put him there, and that's why he put you there, because that's the skill that you have to man that spot? Do you not realize whether you manning a spot or you sitting in your tent abiding till he come, you're gonna get the same exact reward? That your reward is not gonna be any greater because you preached or because you didn't preach, or because you prophesied and you didn't prophesy, or because you healed and he didn't heal? Your reward is the same. Is there going to be a separate kingdom for a preacher? Is it going to be a separate kingdom for a prophet? Or is everybody going to be dwelling in the same righteous kingdom? So what difference does it make what role you play? Just play your position and get there. Because I wouldn't have no problem. Well, I sit back and say, I ain't got to preach nothing. You mean all I got to do is just show up, hear the word, and go home? That's outstanding. That means I only have to deal with what somebody may or may not do to me directly. You know what I'm saying? You're concerned with your brother, but you ain't necessarily got to be concerned with everybody. You know what I'm saying? You don't have to take on this and take on that. You ain't got to deal with none of that. That's why Jethro told Moses, boy, you better get you some help, boy. This gonna kill you. Ain't that what it said? He told him, you better get some help, boy. This gonna kill you. They don't sit back and realize that because they doing it for sure. Because you take that on, it's gonna kill you. Come on, man. Come on back to 1 Kings chapter 12. We got to roll. That's all I got for that. I got more, but I got to stop. Let me make sure that's what I want in 1 Kings chapter 12. Oh, if I was looking at 1 Kings chapter 12, you might have an issue. You might make sense. No, make that 2 Chronicles 24. That's where it's at. 2 Chronicles 24, what is it, about verse 5? Is it verse 5?
What, John?
No. Verse 9. 2 Chronicles 24 and 9 is what I want. I told you we were going to deal with this today, and we are. 2 Chronicles 24 and 9.
It said, and they made a proclamation through Yehuda and Jerusalem to bring into Yahuwah the collection that Moses, the servant of Elohim, laid upon Yashar'al in the wilderness.
Anybody know where that's at, where he laid that? Because you need to know this is in the law. We finna look at it, we finna examine it. Are y'all familiar with this? By show of hands, how many are familiar with the statement what he just made about the offering that he laid upon the people in the wilderness as forth as pertaining to the offering of the tabernacle? How many of y'all are familiar with that? Read it again.
Says, and they made a proclamation through Yehuda and Jerusalem to bring into Yahuwah the collection that Moses, the servant of Elohim, laid up upon Yashar'al in the wilderness. And all the princes and
That's
all
good. How many of y'all are familiar with the collection that he laid upon the children of Yashar'al in the wilderness? How many of y'all are familiar with that? Well, let me reverse the question. How many of you are not familiar with it? So no, okay, that's good. That's cool. Exodus chapter 30, verse 1. You'll be familiar with it today. And I'm going to sit back and show you that that offering literally was money. That's why you see them in 2 Chronicles 24 and 2 Kings chapter 12 bringing actual currency. You know what I'm saying? Because that's what was commanded. This is an understanding why I can say like about knowing the law. Because you know why you wouldn't know this? Because you wouldn't take your time to read that because you wouldn't feel that to be interesting enough for you. And that's the whole key thing is you should not be reading this book for I want to be interested. If you want to be interested, go get a magazine. You know what I'm saying? I'm for real. Go get a book. But when you read in this book, you should be reading it for the purpose of knowing and understanding what is in it. Because this is your manual of how you live and most importantly, how to please the man whom you say you believe in. And also to understand when you see certain things. You see Christians do a building fund, right? Now, I don't know if they pull it from this. But it's quite possible they do. Come on, man. Verse 1.
It says, and thou shalt make an altar to burn incense.
Oh, my bad. 11. 30 and 11. Exodus. Exodus 30 and 11.
It said, Yahuwah spoke to Moses saying, when thou takest the sum of
Take the what?
The sum.
What does he mean when he say when you take the sum? Y'all know what he mean when he say when you take the sum?
Total.
Go ahead. Count the people.
It says, after their number, and then shall they give every man a ransom for his soul.
Give every man a what?
A ransom.
A what?
A ransom.
Think about that. Pay attention to that.
For his soul unto Yahuwah, when thou numbers them, that there be no plague among them when thou numbers them.
Hold on. This man saying so. Hold on. We got to look at something, right? He say you got to give a ransom. What is your ransom? What is a ransom? That word for ransom is kofar. And you know what it is? A price of a life. So this man sat back and just told you, when you number the children of Yashar'al, when you take the sum, and that word for that one is Rosh, or the head. So when he say when you take the head of the children of Yashar'al after their number. So now that changes the whole meaning of what you're looking at now. He says, give every man a ransom for his soul. Give every man a price for his life, so there be no plague among them when you count them. What y'all think that mean when he telling you this? When we look at number, that word is pakad, and that is to number or to reckon or to visit. To visit. And to be watched over and to be sought. To commit and to entrust and commit for care and also a deposit and also to be made an overseer. That is the meanings for that particular word and that particular verse. Let me look at one more thing. And then we can go ahead on. That word for plague is a blow or a fatal plague or a strike, and it is nigaf. So what do y'all think he means when he said, when thou take the head of the children of Yashar'al after their number, they shall give every man a price of a life for his soul unto Yahuwah when you number them or when you visit them. Go ahead, let's get into this roll. Okay, we got to roll. It's 4:24. Luke chapter 1, verse 68. Luke chapter 1, verse 68. Make it verse 67. What's Isaiah? Hold on. So pause. Go to Isaiah chapter 50. Isaiah chapter 50. Make sure I got the words that I want. Pick me up at verse 1, man.
It said, thus said Yahuwah, where's the bill of your mother's divorcement?
Where's it what?
The bill of your mother's divorcement, whom I have put away.
Whom I put away.
Or which of my creditors is it to whom I have sold you?
Who did I sell you to?
Behold, for your iniquity.
Go and say that who is my what? My what?
Creditor.
To who he what?
Have sold you.
So ain't that's what you would need? What does it tell you in the law about a ransom? In Leviticus 25, when he's talking about redeeming your brother. And what time of year would you be redeeming your brother? During the time of Jubilee. Keep going.
It says, therefore, when I came, there was no man. When I called, there was none to answer. Is my hand shortened at all that I cannot redeem?
Is his hand shortened that it can't redeem?
Or have I no power to deliver? Behold, at my rebuke I dry up the sea. I make the rivers a wilderness. Their fish sinketh because there is no water.
That's good. I really wanted Isaiah 48. Go ahead and get that. 48 and 14.
All ye assemble yourselves and hear, which among them have declared these things. Yahuwah have loved him. He will do his pleasure on Babylon, and his arm shall be on the Chaldeans.
Yeah.
I have spoken, yea, I have called him. I have brought him, and he shall make his way prosperous.
He called him, right? He said he brought him too, didn't he? Come on, man.
It says, come ye near unto me, hear ye this.
Come what?
Hear ye this.
Hear what?
Unto me.
Go ahead.
I have not spoken in secret.
I ain't spoken secret.
From the beginning.
From the what?
From the time that it was, there I am.
Why?
And now Yahuwah Elohim and his Ruach have sent me.
He sent him.
Thus said Yahuwah Elohim.
You know who this talking about, right? Because this ain't Isaiah. When the people grabbed the master, did he not say that I've forever taught you in the synagogues and in the temple and the street, and the people know what I say? Then in John chapter 7, his brother said, don't no man hide if he maketh himself known. Now he said, your Ruach has sent me. It sent me to instruct these people. Because somebody has to be given for a ransom. Give me Matthew 20, man. Verse 23. Make it 20 and 20. Screw it. Somebody got to be given for a ransom for the people. It says when you count this man clearly says, right, consider and weigh it. When thou take the head of the children of Yashar'al. When it said number, is to visit. So before we even read what I just asked you for, give me Luke's 1 to 67. Let me do that first. That's the reason why we did that about the scent, because that means he would be visiting you, right? Now we're going to look at what John the Baptist's daddy prophesied and pertaining to Hamashiach. Because when he's talking about this here, we're talking about taking the money for the sanctuary. That's what we're about to discuss. And there was a particular offering made. And there's actually sin money given, trespass money given. And guess who got to keep it? The priest got to keep it. And this is what's in 2 Kings. And this is all laid out in the law. And I'm telling you this here for no other purpose than for you to understand and know when people say, and we're going to look and see today that tithes was money, and they got that too. And why they got it and the things that pertain to it. For no other purpose than for you to know the word, to know this nigga don't know what he talking about. Some of y'all see the memes where people put them out, I'm going to put a corn and some wheat in the plate. Now, if you want to go take corn and wheat and put it in the plate, I could care less, because you shouldn't even be in a spot where you could put corn and wheat in a plate in the first place. You know what I'm saying? But the point of the matter is edification, because you should know what's in the law, how it relates, where does it permit it, and when did it happen? Because we already looked at that with the old widow lady, right? What would they toss some money in a chest for if they never did that? You know what I'm saying? This is for you to understand your way, your Elohim, to have that knowledge and understanding. So, because if you just go for tithes was never money and just grains, you really just going based off what a nigga told you. And you really didn't examine the law itself. You need to examine the law itself and know what the law says. Go ahead.
Luke 1:27.
67.
It says, his father Zacharias was filled with the Ruach HaKodesh and prophesied, saying, Baruch be Yahuwah Elohim Yashar'al, for he has visited and redeemed his...
Remember it said with that number, it said to visit. If we looking at redeem, that's to pay a ransom, which is a price for a life. Go ahead.
It's saying, have raised up a horn of salvation for us in the house of his servant Daud, as he spoke by the mouth of his Kadash prophets, which have been since the world began.
Pause. What prophet can you think of that told you about somebody coming to die for the people? Or someone dying for the people? Who? Speak up. Isaiah? Where he told you that at?
At the beginning, we talking about him being bruised by a nigga.
That's Isaiah 53. We looked at it in Isaiah chapter 1 when he tell you cover you with scarlet and wool. When he said you got these wounds and these grievous wounds and these putrefying sores. Did not Samson die for the people? What about that woman in the book of Judges? Did she not die for the people? Was that not a symbol? Her getting cut up in 12 pieces and sent to all the 12 tribes, the same way the master cut his body up and gave it to 12 apostles? Who else laid their life down for the people? Who mentioned somebody would lay their life down for the people? Did not Abel lay his life down for the people? Moses actually did. He asked to be offered up instead of him killing the people. He said, blot my name out the book. He offered himself up to be a ransom for the people. You know what I'm saying? Nevertheless, let's roll.
It says, and that we should be saved from our enemies and from the hand of all that hate us, to perform thy mercy promised to our fathers, and to remember his Kadash covenant, the oath which he swore unto our father Abraham.
Pause. He said those that curse you, he'll curse them, and those that bless you, he'll bless them. He had to keep his word to Abraham. So he had to visit his people. In Matthew 15:24, what did the master say? Of the house of Yashar'al, I must visit and redeem them. Now let's get Matthew 20 and 20.
It says, then came to him the mother of Zebedee's children with her sons, worshiping him and desiring a certain thing of him. He said unto her, what wilt thou? She said unto him, grant that these my two sons may sit on the right, one on the right hand and the other on the left hand in the kingdom. And Yahushua answered and said, you know not what ye ask. Are ye able to drink of the cup that I shall drink, and of the and to be baptized with the baptism that I am baptized with? They say unto him, we are able. And he said unto them, ye shall drink indeed of my cup, and be baptized with the baptism that I am baptized with. But to sit on the right hand and on the left is not mine to give, but it shall be given to them whom it is prepared of my Father. And when the 10 heard it, they were moved with indignation against the two brethren. And Yahushua called them unto him and said, ye know that the princes of the Gentiles exercise dominion over them, and they that are great exercise authority upon them. But it shall not be so among you. It won't be so with you. Why? But whosoever will be great among you, let him be your minister. Yeah. Whosoever will be chief among you, let him be your servant. Yeah. Even as the Son of Man came not to be ministered unto, but to minister and to give his life as a ransom. A what? A ransom. For what? For many. Isaiah 43 and 1. And after that, Hosea 13 and 12. Christian. Come on. Isaiah 43 and 1. It says, but now, thus says Yahuwah that created thee, O Yaakov, that he formed thee, O Yashar'al, fear not. For I have redeemed thee. He have what? I have redeemed thee. And did what? I have called thee by thy name. Called you by what? Thy name. By what? Thy name. Give me John chapter 10. Pick me up verse 25. We're just going to run right back. He said he called you by name. What did he say about his sheep? What did the master say about his sheep? They hear my voice and follow. What else did he say? This is why we coming to John 10:25. Listen what he say. Come on. He said, Yahushua answered them, I told you, and you believe not. The words which I do in my Father's name, they bear witness of me. But ye believe not, because ye are not of my sheep. As I said unto you,
yes, sir.
My sheep hear my voice,
And they
know
what?
them.
And he knows what?
And know them.
What else?
And they follow me.
And what else?
And I give unto them eternal life.
Go ahead.
And they shall never perish. Neither shall any man pluck them out of my hand.
Oh, that ain't what I had. I forget what the verse was. He say he called his sheep by name.
Yeah.
You read it yet? It was higher.
I don't see it.
Never left. I'll find it for you.
I would like to know what I said.
Yeah, I can't recall.
This what came to my head when you asked. But
Yeah, because that's what I want.
yeah. But he do say that though. Right?
I know it do. John 10 and 3, that's why. Right chapter. So we're high. 10 and 3, John 10 and 3. What'd you say there?
He talking about
10 and 14.
No, you right. I know what you talking about.
Give me John 10 and 3. Listen what it says.
He said, to him the porter openeth, the sheep hear his voice, and calleth his own sheep by name.
His own what?
His own sheep by my name.
Now I'm going to ask y'all a question. I go around the room if I need be. Can anybody think of anybody who Yahushua himself called by name? That doesn't narrow it down. He didn't call Matthew by name. He walked by Matthew and told him to follow him. What did he say? He did call Paul by name. Y'all know somebody else who he appeared to and called by name? It's not a lot of people he called by name. Huh?
I mean,
Eli? No, he ain't called Eli by name. Eli been dead.
Oh, my bad. My bad. My bad. I was thinking.
Yeah, you were thinking about Samuel.
Prophets. Yeah, you was saying prophets.
I'm talking about the master himself.
Yeah, my bad.
You know another man who he called by name?
Peter?
He ain't even called Peter by name. Not when he first came across him.
What was the dude he said, I seen you under the oak tree?
Nathaniel. He did call Nathaniel by name.
I like that.
Look at him. He done got an idea. He called Ananias by name too. Y'all know who Ananias is?
That's one.
Ananias. That's the one. And he in Acts 5. That's the dude who he sent to go get Paul. He called him by name. You know why you? Now I'm gonna ask y'all a question. No, he was a servant. You ain't got to be apostle for him to call you by name. Now I'm gonna ask y'all a question. Why would he call you by name? According to this book, why would he call you by name? Because he what? Okay, I'm gonna ask y'all another question. In the law, where does Adam call people by name? He named the animals himself. Now, just like he said, he chose it. Now, scripturally, where would we go to find why he would know your name? Because your name is written in the book. Exactly, Psalms 139. My members are already written in the book. So this is why he able to call you by name, because your name is already written in his book. Because that's what he just said. He said when he ransoms you, he called you by name. So give me Ephesians 1 and 7. Give me Ephesians 1 and 7. And that goes back to the topic we had dealt with some months back about knowing who chosen and who ain't. No, see, you think about, that's the same dude, their names kind of similar. You think about Ananias and Sapphira. But if you go look at Acts chapter 9, he told a dude to go get Paul, and he called him by name to go get Paul. And he said, man, I ain't going to get him. I heard by him. And he said, man, go get that man like I told you to do. I might have mispronounced the name, but the name start with an A.
A little disclaimer.
Yeah, I'm just saying. Hey, no, he wasn't on track. I know what he was thinking. I know what he was thinking about. I know what he was thinking about. Hold on, let me see where he pronounced the man name. We say the man name right. Ananias. And then buddy over here is no, same name. Same name. They got the same name. So hey, no, we wasn't tripping. Same name. You ain't no nigga. That's why you got felines on. Maybe.
I ain't gonna say that.
You ain't let it slide, nigga, like a slip. And slide.
Ephesians what?
1 and 7, slip and slide. You ain't slipped on that page yet. What you got going on?
It says, in whom we have redemption through his blood.
Which would be what? A ransom?
For forgiveness of sins.
For what?
Forgiveness of sins.
For what?
forgiveness of sins according to the riches of his grace.
Go ahead.
Wherein he hath abounded towards us all in wisdom and prudence.
Yes, sir.
Having made known unto us the mystery of his will.
Yes, sir.
According to his good pleasure, which he hath purposed in himself.
So he purposed in himself to call people by name and to know them. Because I'm going to be honest with you. I told you this once. I've told you twice. And I tell you thrice. That man don't know everybody. Didn't we just read that in verse 25? He said, you're not as my sheep if I told you before. That's why I be telling you. Just because a nigga sit down with you on the Shabbat don't mean y'all know him. You know what I'm saying? Don't mean he called by name. That don't mean nothing. Because guess what? Judas was sitting right there. He was not called by name. And he didn't know him. He was sitting right there. Korah them came up out the wilderness sitting right there. Seeing the thunder, right? Seeing the lightnings. Walked through the Red Sea, seen the law given by dispensation of Malachi, ain't believe not a single solitary word of them. Ain't now a single one of them belong to him. Not now a single one of them. Don't be fooled by that. Don't be no dummy. You know what I'm saying? That's why he said you better make sure your election is sure. If you've been chosen, you better make sure that junk sealed tight and delivered. You know what I'm saying? Because guess what, a nigga get mad? How you gonna tell me I ain't chosen? Shoot, nigga, you told me. I didn't tell you. You told me. How did I tell you? I observed. One of the biggest things that people got a misconception is a lot of people make their judgments and on people by what they observe more so than what someone may tell them. The people did not believe that Yahushua was the son of Elohim based on what they were told. They believed it based on what they saw. You know what I'm saying? Because there were people telling them that he was a deceiver and a devil and the son of Beelzebub. Right there where they were standing there. But some of the people sat back and looked at, boy, if he ain't the son of God, I don't know who is. Because I don't know if nobody going to come through here and do this here, what you talking about. Because what did the scribes do? They had a smear campaign. I'm talking about, I ain't really that big off concerned with Colin Kaepernick. They wanted a smear campaign on him right now. Because I just seen they try to say the man dating a tranny. You know what I'm saying? And know the word part is, niggas sharing the story. Like, I wouldn't even share that story, even if it were true. Because we know full well that man ain't dating no tranny. You know what I'm talking about? I ain't gonna put that man out there like that. It would be very convenient. It would be very convenient that all this stuff going on, and now you want to try to disparage this man's reputation by saying he ain't Bobby Valentino. You know what I'm talking about? He ain't Eddie Murphy. Because he ain't get caught with no tranny. Them two niggas got caught with one. Eddie Murphy got caught picking trannies up. Oh yeah, no, that was Mr. C. That was Mr. C. Some of y'all don't know who Mr. C is. That's the dude who put Biggie on. And this man didn't get caught one time with a tranny, not 2 times with a tranny, 3 times. He tricking on the street. After a while, it's time to get you a boyfriend and stop tricking on the street with trannies. At that point, it's time to stop. And get what he talking about? He ain't gay. Well, nigga, what are you? That's a man. That ain't no woman. I don't care how much she bought them titties for. That's a man. Dude, boy, I was locked up when niggas had titties. They talking about, I paid them $20 to look at them. I ain't seen a titty in 3 years. I don't want to see no titties then. That's a man. That man got a shlong. Mr. C literally said he ain't gay. You know who else got caught up for being a pedophile? Like Africa Bambaataa, that dude Tariq El Bay. He done got called out for messing with little kids. I know some of y'all don't know who he is. He ain't that important. I didn't know who he is though, but he ain't that important. He just run in them circles, them conscious community circles. He got accused of being a pedophile. Oh man, Rakeem Patel, fake conscious king. That nigga say your whole thing busted out. That ain't he coming from a living way. That junk's still funny. He said, well, I ain't say I'm a vegan. I'm a vegetarian. Vegans don't eat meat. Baby said your junk look like a grapefruit. Talking about they ain't come from lifting weights. Talking about how you want to go in the white hose bare. Putting Raw to shame. Get what? Raw ain't shame because Raw was doing the same thing. Nevertheless, come on, man. Leah, go sit down. Come on, man. Feed, keep on reading in the feed. We ain't done yet. I gotta crank it up a notch. Children, meaning Isaiah and Leah, sit down. Little Tubby, sit down. Sit down.
It says, having made known unto us the mystery of his will, according to his good pleasure, which he hath purposed in himself.
And the reason why I say that, it's Yah's good pleasure to reveal himself to whomever he chooses to. Go ahead.
It says, according to his good pleasure, which he hath purposed in himself, that in the dispensation of the fullness of times he might gather together in one all things in Mashiach.
Drop to verse 14.
It says, which is the earnest of our inheritance unto the redemption of the purchased possession.
To the what?
The purchased possession.
Isn't not this ransom of purchase? So he's basically telling you, when the head visits the people, that there will be a price of a life, so there's no plague on the people. That's literally what it said, because it says Rosh in that verse. We know what that is. That's the head. That's the chief. So when he say, when the chief visits the people, give them a price of life. And that price of life will make sure that there's no plague amongst the people. Go ahead, man. Back me up to 12, though.
It says that we should be to the praise of his esteem, whom first trusted in the Mashiach, and whom ye also trusted after ye heard the word of truth.
When you first trusted after, see, a lot of people have heard the word and they have, that's how those people were getting the Ruach, because their trust and hope was in Elohim. Because you got to remember that with the Gentiles. Them Gentiles ain't have no law in Acts chapter 10. They hadn't been immersed, they ain't know no law or nothing. They heard the gospel of Mashiach and believed, trusted in that, and he gave it to them. And he gave it to him. And guess what Peter was? Peter was taking it back, because he like, how they get it? He was like, they ain't supposed to get that. That's why people don't get it in these days and time, because they really don't trust in him. And also because they're not hearing of him to trust in him. But the verse we're looking at, but we got to roll, is when he said you were chosen before the foundation of the world, which is what we reference in Psalms 139. That's why these people name already written in the book. That's how you already know them. Because remember what he told Nathaniel, he said, I seen you sitting up under the fig tree. He said, boy, I know you the son of God. He said, if you believe me on that, wait till you see the rest of it. Now, how many of y'all would believe he was, how many of y'all would believe he was the son of God just because he told you he seen you sitting up under a fig tree? A fig tree. That's all he needed. That's John chapter 1 about verse 48 if you want to know what I said. Come on back to Exodus chapter 30. Matter of fact, no. Give me Titus chapter 3. Titus 2, my apologies. Give me verse 10. Lil Tubby, what you talking about? What you talking about, Tubby? Titus 2 and 10.
It says, not prolonging, but showing all good fidelity, that they may adorn the doctrine of Elohim, our Savior in all things.
Yep.
For the grace of Elohim that bringeth salvation hath appeared to all men.
It's appeared to all men.
Teaching us that denying ungodliness and worldly lust, we should live soberly.
Live what?
Soberly, righteously, and godly in this present world.
That's good. Give me Hosea 13 and 12, and after that, 1 Timothy chapter 2, verse 3. Hosea 13 and 12. Come on, Tubby.
It says, the iniquity of Ephraim is bound up and his sin is hid.
His sin is what?
Is hid.
Go ahead.
The sorrows of a travailing woman shall come upon him. He is an unwise son.
He's an unwise?
Unwise
That's
son.
what happened to the master, because he said he was a fool, bro.
For he should not stay long in the place of the breaking forth of children.
Yes, sir.
I will ransom.
He'll what?
I will ransom.
He'll what?
Ransom them.
From what?
From the power of the grave.
From the power of the what?
The grave.
That's the plague that he got for the price of life that he got to pay you back from. Go ahead.
I will redeem them from death.
Redeem you from what?
From death.
From what?
From death.
Woo!
From death, I will be thy plague.
I be thy what?
Plague.
And what else?
O grave, I will be thy destruction.
Give me 1 Corinthians 15. Now keep going. Finish the rest.
Repentance shall be hid from my eyes.
Guess what? That'll be hid from your eyes. I don't know who that is. Yeah, 1 Corinthians 15 and 53. Make about 55. 1 Corinthians 15, 55. And then 1 Timothy chapter 2, verse 3.
It says, O death, where is thy sting?
Where's your what?
Where is thy victory?
Where is it at?
The sting of death is sin.
The sting of death is what?
It's sin.
He said he ransoms you from that. Come on.
And the strength of sin is the law.
That's good. That's all we wanted. 1 Timothy 2 and 3. You see how that correlates with the law? Is right there. And you just think, and people look at that and think that's just a number for people to throw some shekels. But when you see take the number, you ain't gonna see that. That's gonna say the Rosh. And if you all ask old smarty art nigga won't believe in Mashiach, well, who is this head that's coming with the price of life? Because it ain't Moses. Oh, parse a nigga, parse that. Come on, man.
1 Timothy
2 and 3.
For this is good and acceptable in the sight of Elohim our Savior.
What's good and
Who
acceptable?
will have all men to be saved.
It's good that everybody be saved.
And to come into the knowledge of the truth.
To come to the truth.
For there is one Elohim, one mediator between Elohim and man.
Yep.
And that man is Yashar'al Mashiach.
Go ahead.
Whom gave himself a ransom.
Gave himself a what?
A ransom.
A what?
A ransom.
What for?
For all to be testified in due time.
In due time.
Whereunto I am ordained a preacher.
That good. You see how it was testified to in Exodus 30? You think that's just about a building. But that's telling us how this man was going. Why would they need to offer some shekels to redeem them from a plague? You know what I'm saying? Because he's that sanctuary. But at the same token, we are that sanctuary. At the same token. Or that house. Come on, bike man. We're in Exodus 30 and 13.
It says, this they shall give everyone that passes among them that are numbered half a shekel after the shekel of the sanctuary.
Everybody that's numbered gonna give a half a shekel. Remember, everyone who is numbered is everyone who is visited or sought after. That's why I mentioned Matthew 15:24. I'm not sent but to the lost sheep of the house of Yashar'al. Or let's give them Luke 15. Everyone that is numbered is the ones who he visits. He don't visit everybody. Luke 15 and 1.
It says, then drew near unto him all the publicans and sinners for to hear him. And the Pharisees and scribes murmured, saying, this man receiveth sinners and eateth with them.
And what did he say?
It said, he spake this parable unto them, saying, what man of you, having 100 sheep, if he lose one of them, does not leave the 99 in the wilderness and go after that which is lost until he find it? And when
Till he what?
Until he found it.
Till he what?
Found it.
What prophet told you about the people weren't, that the pastors were not seeking after the people? Y'all need to go read Ezekiel the 34th chapter on your own time. He told you about it, that they weren't seeking after the people, and that they were living fat off the people and exploiting the people. And he said that he would kill every last one of them. Go ahead. Go ahead, man. You lost your place?
Yeah, I was thinking about what you were saying.
You in Luke 15. Probably about verse 3.
Yeah, verse 5. It says, and when he had found it, he laid on his shoulders and rejoiced. And when he cometh home, he called together his friends and neighbors, saying unto them, rejoice with me, for I have found my sheep which was lost.
What do y'all think he mean when he say he took that sheep and laid it upon his shoulder and he rejoiced? Y'all got an idea? Huh? When you look at the sheep, what is that sheep representative of in this parable? The people, right? What did he carry on his shoulder? What was the state representative of? The people. Because he was dying for the people. Does not Hebrews chapter 12 say that for the joy set before him, he endured the state? So when he telling you that he got this sheep on his shoulder, to remember what he told you in Isaiah chapter 9, the burden to be upon his shoulder. He carried the people on his shoulder. And it brought joy to him to do it. This is why Paul said in another place that the enemies of the stake of Mashiach, because people will have a joy to carry that on their shoulder. Go ahead.
When he cometh home, well, it say, I say unto you that likewise joy shall be in Shamahim over one sinner that repenteth, more than over 99 just persons which need no repentance. Either what woman has 10 pieces of silver, if she lose one piece, does not light a candle and sweep the house and seek diligently.
Drop the first head. Henry, you figured it out. Boom. Yeah, so he was looking at me peeking through it, smiling. He knew what he was doing. He said, you thought you were going to turn it around, I wasn't going to figure it out. I figured it out. Come on.
It says, either what woman having tent, what it say, and it said, when she had found it, she called her friends and her neighbors together, saying, rejoice with me, for I found the piece which I had lost. Likewise, I say unto you, there is joy in the presence of the Malachim of Elohim over one sinner that repented. And he said, a certain man had 2 sons, and the younger of them said to his father.
That's good. Come on back to Exodus chapter 30. We're in verse 14.
It says, everyone that passes among them that are numbered from 20 years old and above shall give an offering unto Yahuwah.
Yep.
The rich shall not give more, the poor shall not give less than a half a shekel.
Everybody got to give the same thing.
When they give an offering unto Yahuwah to make atonement for your soul.
To make atonement for what?
Your soul.
So the shekels was to make for atonement for your soul, then, wasn't it? Come on.
It says, and thou shalt take the atonement money of the children of Yashar'al and shalt appoint it for the service of the tabernacle of the congregation, that it may be a memorial to the children of Yashar'al before Yahuwah.
Hold on, let it say
atonement for your soul.
Now let's look at memorial. That word is zikron, and it's a reminder or a remembrance. Now what do you think this means when he say that this money is for a reminder? That word atonement is kafar, and that is to purge or to make atonement or to cover with the pitch, to atone for sin. Give me Hebrews chapter 9. Hebrews 9 and 14. Hebrews 9 and 14.
It said, how much more shall the blood of Mashiach, who through the eternal Ruach offered himself without a spot to Elohim, purge your conscience from dead works to serve the living Elohim? And for this cause he is the mediator of the new covenant, by means of death, for the redemption of the transgressions that were under the first testament, they which are called might receive the promise of eternal inheritance.
Now pause. Get me 1 Peter chapter 1, verse 18. So what we're looking at when we see this is that Mashiach's blood paid the price for the sanctuary or for the house or for the body. But we see that the money here was supposed to be for the atonement of the people as well. See, this is the cap game when niggas run, blood's not the only thing to atone for sin. Stupid nigga. Of course we know that. See, they say that to people because people don't think people don't know the law and see the different things of the law and what this is actually pointing to. You know what I'm saying? Why do you need to pay money to atone for your soul for the sanctuary or the house? Because this goes back to what we talked about Wednesday, about making the house new and repaired. And to repair it and to make it new, something has to be offered. Something has to die. You can't pay y'all back with cash. And this is why 1 Peter chapter 1 verse 18 says this. Go ahead. Make it verse 16. 1 Peter 1 and 16.
It said, because it is written, be ye Kadash, for I am Kadash, and if ye call on the Father whom without respect the person judges according to every man's work, pass the time of your sojourning here in fear.
Yep.
For as much as ye know that ye were
Listen what he said, as much as ye know you were not
redeemed with corruptible things,
like what?
As silver and gold.
You couldn't be redeemed for that with them shekels of gold you were trying to slide in for that atonement. It couldn't do it. You know why I couldn't do it? Because you steady kept going into captivity. You were steady in sin. Read it to him again.
It says, for as much as you know that ye are not redeemed with corruptible things as silver and gold from your vain conversation received by the traditions from your fathers, but with precious blood of the Mashiach as the lamb without blemish and without spot.
Now give me Isaiah 52:7 and to make this make even more sense. Going back to what we already read in Titus, how he done ransomed you and redeemed you. And notice that he said it was everybody 20 years old and upward. That is the age that he began that the people actually were counted. Anybody under 20 wasn't counted. Being under 20 does not mean that that 20 is the age of accountability, like people like to slang. There is no age of accountability anywhere in this book where it says, oh, when you're 12, you're this, that, and the third. It doesn't say that anywhere. Come on, man.
Isaiah
52:7.
How beautiful upon the mountains are the feet of him
52:3.
It says, for thus said Yahuwah, ye have sold yourself for naught.
For what?
For naught.
For nothing.
And ye shall be redeemed without money.
That's why he got to say this. Don't you think those Abarim at that time would have understood why he said that? Because they know what Exodus 30 say about being redeemed with money for atonement for your souls, according to Exodus chapter 30, correct? That's why Peter makes the statement, you were not redeemed with corruptible things like silver and gold, but the blood of Mashiach. This is why he told the scribes, you pay the tithes of anise, mint, and cumin, and you will make the weightier matters of the law, because you think this is what can purchase you and buy you back to me. Come on, man. Leviticus 27, man. Do y'all understand that? Does that make sense? Do you see what it's actually telling you? So this is why you see them bringing the money to the sanctuary in 2 Kings 12 and 2 Chronicles 24. That's why you see him mention it. They got to do it according to what was laid on them, according to the law of Moses. Leviticus 27, man, verse 1.
It says, and Yahuwah spoke to Moses, saying, speaking to the children of Yashar'al, and saying to them, when a man shall take a singular vow.
Take a what?
A singular vow.
Yeah.
The person shall be for Yahuwah by thy estimation. And the estimation shall be of the male from 20 years old, even unto 60 years old. Even thy estimation shall
That word for estimation means something of value or to set in order. To set in order. Then keep that in mind. Go ahead.
It says, the estimation shall be 50 shekels of silver after the shekel of the sanctuary.
Isaiah, listen. I gotta calm down.
And if it be female, then thy estimation shall be 30 shekels.
So if it's a male, it's how many shekels? It's 50. And he say after the shekel of the sanctuary. So that takes you back to Exodus 30. How much was he said the shekel of the sanctuary was? No, he said it was a half a shekel or a gerah. Let's look at it again. $30 and $13. It says so you can know what the shekel of a sanctuary is.
And they should give everyone that passes among them that number half a shekel after the shekel of the sanctuary. A shekel is 20 gerah, and half a shekel shall be the offering of you.
So that's how they got to give it. So they got to give 20 gerahs, or however that computes out. I can't give you the conversion rate on that at this particular time. So coming back to Leviticus 27. Yeah, to a certain extent. Basically, they got to give 30 shekels times 20 gerahs. They got to give 600 gerahs for a woman, and for a man, they got to give say 50 shekels, 20 gerahs. Multiply that by 30, and I think you got dang. My numbers just all went off.
I already know I can't do math like that in my head.
Let's say 50, 20 gerahs. That's like what? Boom. That's 1,000 gerahs. They got to give 50. So they got to give 1,000 gerahs versus 600 for a 1,000 for a man, 600 for a lady. Let's roll. Come on, man. Verse 5. Listen now, because listen. Now he's going to start mentioning children. So you pay attention to this. He's going to start mentioning young people. Leviticus 27:5.
It says, and if ye be born from 5 years old, even unto
So
20
anybody from the ages of 5 to 20, what's their estimation?
the estimation shall be of the male 20 shekels, and for a female 10 shekels.
So the male got to give 20, and the female got to give 10. So that takes you to what? 150. 100 for the male, 50 for the female. Come on.
And if it be from a month
old
to 5 years, then thy estimation shall be of a male 5 shekels, and for a female thy estimation shall be 3
So now it's 25 and 15. And you know what this is covering? That he died for everybody. Children and all. Because it's according to the shekel of the sanctuary. We just looked at the shekel of the sanctuary was given for the redemption and the atonement of the people. You know why he got to fit everybody in there? Because when they were coming out of the land, what did he say? Nobody 20 and above can get up in here. See, now this is what this here, right? When we look at that, give me Matthew chapter 18, verse 1. What are you doing, children? Why are y'all sprawled out all in the floor? 18 and 1.
It says, at the same time came the disciples unto Yahushua, saying, who is the greatest in the kingdom of Shammai?
What did he say?
And Yahushua called a little child unto him and set him in the midst of them, and said, verily I say unto you, except ye be converted and become as little children, ye should not enter into the kingdom of Shammai.
Go ahead.
Therefore, whosoever therefore shall humble himself as this little child, the same is great in the kingdom of Shammai.
Go ahead. That ain't what I wanted, but I
Who
think
shall
you finna
receive
come on.
one such little child in my name receiveth me. But whoso shall offend one of these little ones which believe in me,
There we go.
it were better for him that a millstone were hanged about
So
his
you see right this here, right? So, and you know what this is dealing with, right? When we look at Lydia, y'all know who Lydia is? Who don't know who Lydia is? Give me Acts chapter 18. Because this is dealing with that if a man or a woman has been atoned for, and they don't receive the ruach and walk upright, that's how them children get covered, like what you reading right here. Are y'all familiar with that 1 Corinthians 7? He say, what if the husband or the wife ain't Kadesh, unless your children are unkadesh? That's where they're getting it from. Because the price is no longer the half a shekel of the sanctuary, the price is the blood. Because that's what he just told you in Peter. You couldn't be redeemed with corruptible things like silver and gold. Because again, this is what I'm telling you, if you knew the law, if we know the law what we're supposed to, then when you read that Peter, you would automatically know Exodus chapter 30. You know what I'm saying? You would automatically know Leviticus 27. But when we see these things in the law, you don't want to read that because that's not fun. See, I want to read about when we came up out of Egypt. I want to read about some history. I want to read about this and read about that. Then when you run across this here, it's foreign language to you, and nobody don't teach about it or talk about it, so you just say, screw it, I don't feel like I need to know it. You know what I'm saying? But you need to know it. If it's written in here, you need to know it. I wouldn't care how. You should not be reading the scriptures to be entertained. Like I said, you want to be entertained, AMC 24 right around the corner. You know what I'm saying? You want to be entertained, cut your TV on. Because if you're reading this to be entertained, you're going to miss the point of what this book is about, and it's the salvation of your soul. Do you know what I'm saying? This is not for entertainment. Because when you're reading it for entertainment, you're reading how people going to hell. You know what I'm saying? At the end of the day, you're reading how people fail and going to be destroyed versus how many are actually going to be delivered. Because I know it's got what you're looking for in it. You got an antagonist, you got a protagonist, you got a hero, you got all that. You got everything that makes a great novel. And then you forget these are real people who you're related to. Do you know what I'm saying? There's nothing wrong with reading for your history, but you shouldn't be reading for your history like white people read for history just to walk around and wave your flag and say, I come from such and such from Scott. You're supposed to be sitting back looking at, boy, all my ancestors were stupid, save for him and him. There should be no pride in looking at the history of Ahab. You shouldn't get no pride in looking at Baasha. You should look at what we read with Solomon, the mistake of your ancestor Solomon, or the mistake of Asa, or Uzziah, who we going to get to, and others. You know what I'm saying? Look at the pleading that Jeremiah made when he seen his people being killed and Jerusalem being destroyed. You know what I'm saying? Understand when you read about Mashiach what he was really doing. Because we read about it and we have the idealistic view of it, and then we forget what he was really doing. Because ain't none of y'all would have did it if you was him. You be like, shoot, them niggas going to hell then. Because ain't no who gonna go through that. I'm gonna come into a situation where I know I'm gonna be spit in my face. As a man, you ain't feeling nobody spitting in your face. If you a man, you gonna be ready to box. You know what I'm saying? Imagine somebody walk up to you, pop, pull your beard out your face, and you knew they were gonna do it before they did it. Bust you upside your head with rocks. You know what I'm talking about? Place a crown of thorns upside your head, slap you around, hit you in the face with a reed, tell you a liar and a devil, and you did that for people who never obeyed you from the time you met them. Cause let's not get it twisted. That man said you've been stubborn and stiff-necked from the time that I knew you. How many of y'all really finna go do that? How many of you gonna die for somebody who don't like you? Screw if they like you. That's why he tell you on how you gonna show love to those who love you and not to your enemies. It's nothing to show love to somebody you know gonna show love back to you. How many of you can love somebody don't like you though? You know what I'm talking about? How many of you could be actually peaceful and good to somebody you know don't like you? Nigga ain't gonna do it. Y'all ain't finna sit here and tell me you gonna die for somebody you don't like. You be like, shoot, that nigga scarred. You know what I'm saying? For real though. Think about that. Think about that. How many of us would do what he did? And all he's asking you to do is die and follow him. You ain't even got to do all that. You ain't got to go die for nobody. All you got to do is be just and upright to everybody. Because y'all show love to the just and the unjust. He showed love to his enemies and his friends when he sent his son to die on that stake to give every man, woman, and child an opportunity to be redeemed if they so chose. And we reject it. I'm mentioning this here because you really need to understand the gravity of what this man did. Understand it. Because what you seeing with these estimation of shekels is to cover the whole house of Yashar'al. You notice he's telling them to give an offering for everybody. We finna even get to older people in a minute. Come on, man. What'd you say? Acts 18. Give me about verse 7.
It says, and he departed thence and entered into a certain man's house whose name was Justice, one that worshipped Elohim, whose house was joined hard to the synagogue. And Crispus, the chief ruler of the synagogue, believed on the master with all his house.
Y'all sit down. You, sit down. Go sit down. Go ahead.
It says, and many of the Corinthians hearing believed and were baptized. Then spoke the master to Paul in the night by a vision, be not afraid, but speak, and hold not thy shalom. For I am with thee, and no man shall set on thee to hurt thee, for I have much people in this city.
My apologies, I think that's 19. It might be 18. I'm trying to see what else. Yeah, that's 19. Yeah, that's 19. We don't want all that.
16, right?
16, appreciate it. Yeah, that's 16. You're right. And I said that last night too. 16 to 13. And I said that last night too. Acts 16 to 13. Go sit down somewhere, boy.
It says, and on the Sabbath we went out of the city by a riverside, where prayer was wont to be made, and we sat down and spake unto the women which resorted thither.
Go ahead.
And a certain woman named Lydia, a seller of purple of the city of Thracia, which worship Elohim, heard us, whose heart Yahuwah had opened, that she attended unto the things which were spoken of Paul.
What else?
And when she was baptized, her and her household, she brought us, saying, if ye have judged me to be faithful unto you, who will come into
You notice it said her and her what?
her household.
That means the children and all. Because 9 times out of 10, you know there were kids in there. So they were covered by that blood or by that redemption. You know what I'm saying? Come on back to Leviticus 27. Because you notice he said from a month old. He mentioned a month-old child. He covered them all. Leviticus 27 and 7.
It says, and if it be from 60 years and above, and if it be male, then thy estimation shall be 15 shekels, and for the female 10 shekels.
So now you got what? You got 200 gerahs and 300 gerahs. Now he say if they 60 and up, he covered everybody. He covered everybody. That's why we read that in Timothy earlier that he want all men to be saved. He covered everybody. From 60 and up, from a month old, all the way up to however, it don't make no difference. He covered everybody. Nobody was excluded. Nobody was excluded. That's why I tell you, it's imperative that if you have children, to get yourself right, because that estimation money for that child, you will be paying it until they hit the point to where they can pay it for themselves. Go ahead, man.
It says, but if he be poor than thy estimation, then he shall present himself before the priest, and the priest shall value him according to his ability, that thou shall the priest value him.
Go ahead.
And if it be a beast whereof men bring an offering unto you, all that any man giveth of such, Yahuwah shall be Kadash.
Go ahead.
He shall not alter it.
He shall not what?
Alter it, nor change it, a good or bad, of a bad for a good. And if he shall at all change beast for beast, then it shall be exchanged.
Let me get that word for alter. That word for alter in this particular verse is kalaf, and it's to overstep or transgress or cause to pass or change or to pass away. He will not cause this person to stumble. Not gonna change it. Give me what it is. What's the thing I'm thinking about? It just threw me off. It'll come back to me. Keep going. No, I was thinking about something else. Go back. Go ahead. Keep going. That just threw me off.
It said, if it be any unclean beast of which they do not offer a sacrifice unto Yahuwah, then he shall present the beast before the priest.
Go ahead.
And the priest shall value it, whether it be good or bad, as thou valuest. Who art the priest, so shall it value.
So shall it be. Go ahead.
But if he will at all redeem it, then he shall add a fifth part thereof unto.
We don't read all that because you need to hear all that. Go ahead.
And when the man shall sanctify his house to be Kadash.
When a man do what?
Sanctify his house to be Kadash.
Sanctify his what?
His house to be Kadash.
And that's what we sat back and looked at in 2 Kings and 2 Chronicles 24. They sanctified their house and set it apart. Go ahead, man.
Then the priest shall estimate whether it be good or bad, as the priest shall estimate it, so shall it stand.
So he said the priest will. How does the priest estimate if a man has sanctified his house? How would he be able to estimate that? I want y'all to ask me that. How would he be able to estimate that? What process will Yahushua go through to estimate it? And that's to arrange, to set, and put in order, to prepare, to order, to ordain, to handle, to furnish. How would he be able to do this? When we sit back and we think about it, because we went over this here. Y'all remember we looked at in Psalms 37, it said the steps of a good man are what? They ordered by Yah. Which is going to take us back to what? You being chosen in Yah. Give me John chapter 15, about verse 15. When it came to Judas, was his steps ordered? Yes. So when you look at it, he said if a man sets to sanctify his natural self to Yahuwah, he says Yahuwah will estimate whether he chooses him or not. That's what he's telling you. He's going to estimate, or he's going to order this man's step. Give me Romans 9 right after this. John 15.
John 15 and 15. Henceforth I call you not servants, for the servant knoweth not what his master does.
Yeah.
But I have called you friends, for all things that I have heard of my Father I have made known unto you.
Yeah.
Ye have not chosen me, but I have chosen you and ordained you.
He ordained. Now what did the master say in John 7? Sanctify them with thy truth. Thy word is truth, right? He had already ordained that they would be set apart. Listen to the next thing he say.
It says, and that ye ordained you, and you should go and bring forth fruit, that your fruit should remain, that whatsoever ye shall ask of my Father in my name, he may give it.
That's good. Romans 9 and 18.
It says, therefore have he mercy on whom he will have mercy, and he will
have what?
Whom he will harden.
Go ahead.
Thou wilt say then to me, why does he yet find fault?
Go ahead.
Or who hath resisted his will?
Who's resisted his will?
Neighbor, O man, who art thou that replieth against Elohim?
Who are you to speak against Elohim?
Shall the thing formed say to him that formeth, why hast thou made thus?
He says, so you going to tell him why you made me like this? Because that's what that estimation is telling you, that he set in place and he ordered it. Listen to what he tell you some people are ordered for.
Have not the potter power over the clay?
Yeah.
Of the same lump to make one vessel unto honor and another unto dishonor?
Yeah.
What if Elohim willing to show his wrath and to make his power known, endured with much long suffering the vessels of wrath fitted to destruction?
Go ahead.
And that he might make known the riches of his esteem on the vessels of mercy which he had afore prepared unto esteem. Even us whom he hath called, not of the Yahudim only, but also of the Gentiles.
Pause. Now it says in Leviticus, right, whether it be good or bad, the priest will determine which way it will go. So give me Revelation 22 and 11. So it's up, Yahuwah determines it. You come and bring it, Yahuwah determine whether you be good or whether you be bad. How will Yahuwah determine whether you be good or bad? After we read this Revelation 22, maybe we'll go a little bit deeper with it and swing to Jeremiah 17. And you'll see how he makes that determination. Because in actuality, you have made that determination for him. What's up, Tubby?
Revelation 21.
22 and 11.
22 and 11. It says, he that is unjust, let him be unjust still.
Yep.
He which is filthy, let him be filthy still.
Yep.
And he that is righteous, let him be righteous still. And he that is Kadash, let him be Kadash still.
Yep.
And behold, I come quickly, and my reward is with me.
His reward is what?
With me.
And what else?
To give every man according to his work.
According to what?
According to as his work shall be.
So he gonna reward you whether it be good or whether it be bad then, right? Jeremiah 17 and 7. That's the part you had to look at and understand. He tell you in the book of Ecclesiastes who can make a crooked thing straight. What Yah has made crooked, who can make it straight? It wasn't nothing that anybody could do to make Judah straight. Yah had to make him crooked. He was starved. Come on.
It says, Baruch is a man that trusteth in Yahuwah, and whose hope is Yahuwah.
Go ahead.
For he shall be as a tree planted by the waters, and that spreadeth out her roots by the river.
Yep.
By the river, and shall not see when the heat cometh.
Yep.
But her leaves shall be green, and thou shalt not be careful in the year of drought, neither shall thou cease from yielding fruit.
Yep.
The heart is deceitful above all things,
and what?
Desperately wicked.
And what else?
Who should know it?
So we didn't read verse 5 when he say, "Cursed be the man that trusteth in man, who make flesh his arm." And you know that's why he be able to make the determination between who's good and bad. Because 2 Thessalonians chapter 2 tell you that there have some who have pleasure in unrighteousness, who have not received the love for the truth. Therefore he should cause them to believe a lie that they might be damned. Go ahead, finish that out though. Whose stuff he threw in the trash? Henry! Why you doing like that, Henry?
What do you want?
Keep finishing Jeremiah 17. Okay. Henry don't give two lines.
It say, I, Yahuwah, search the heart. I try the reins.
He do what?
I try the reins.
No, he do what?
Search the heart.
He do what?
Search the heart.
And do what?
Try the reins.
And what else?
Even to give every man according to his ways and according to the fruit of his doing.
That's how this man gonna make the determination whether you be good or bad, because he gonna search your heart and try your reins. Just like Hebrews 4 and 12 tell you, the word of Elohim is sharper than a two-edged sword, dividing asunder into the joints and the marrow. It is a discerner of the thoughts and intents of the heart. When the word come, that's how he search your heart. So that's why you sit back and you look at it. That's how he search your heart. Psalms 139 and verse 23. If you want to know how y'all search your heart, it's just like what we read in Deuteronomy 13 the other day. He put you in a position to see if you love him or not. And if the word is not in you, then you're going to fail because you don't have nothing to keep you. You don't got nothing to keep you. If he search your heart and he try you by that word, if that word in you, you're going to stand on that word. Go ahead, Psalm 139:20.
I hate them with a perfect hatred. I count them my enemies.
Yep.
Search me, O Elohim.
So do what?
Search me, O Elohim.
Do what?
And know my heart.
And know what?
Know my heart.
How he gonna know your heart again?
Try me.
Do what?
Try me.
And what else?
Know my thoughts.
Know your what?
My thoughts.
Go ahead.
And see if there be any wicked way in me.
Do what with it?
And lead me in the way of everlasting.
Give me Hebrews 4 and 12 anyway. How else he gonna search? He just don't come through and say, "Let me see what's in Stanley's heart. What's in Kiana's heart?" No, that word gonna search it. That word gonna search it, and that word gonna show it. That's what's gonna show it. You want him to lead you in the way of everlasting. Well, you got to follow what's written. You got to follow his son. You got to follow the word.
Sorry, get out.
Come on. What?
Is it Hebrews 11?
Yeah, 4 and 12.
Get off the chair.
It say, for the word of Elohim is quick and powerful.
It's what?
Quick and powerful.
And what else?
Sharper than any two-edged sword.
And what else?
Piercing even to the dividing asunder of the soul and spirit, and of the joints and marrow, and is a discerner of the thoughts and intents of the heart.
That's how he's searching. When Saul got exposed, how was he exposed? He was exposed by the word of Yahuwah. When Cain was exposed, he was exposed by the word showed what was in his heart, which was jealousy, envy, and murder. When you look at the people in the wilderness, what were they exposed by? Idolatry and lust. When the word came, that's what exposed them. That's what they showed it, because that's the direction they went in. When a Mashiach was on the earth, when he was preaching that word, what were they exposed of? Not believing, unfaithful, and fearful. The word will expose it. The question of the matter is, when the word exposes what's in your heart, what will you do with it? Will you cast it away like a menstruous rag and say, get thee hence? Or will you keep it close unto you and remain unclean? That's the question. Leviticus 27. And get what? That question only can be answered by the individual. I can't answer it for you. We stopped at what? Verse 14, so we in verse 15. And listen to what verse 15 says.
It says, and deliver them who fear.
Verse 15, what you read? That's not Leviticus 27. (27:15). I'm talking about, ain't even no 15 verse right there. What you just read? Oh yeah, what? Yeah, he was in Hebrews 2. Come on. I don't know how you went from Hebrews 4 to 2. Were you drunk, boy? You had you some fermented grapes? You been drinking Mara juice? That juice had him right early. You might have sipped some. You look like you like to steal some of that juice. Just tap your cup a little bit.
Leviticus 27
and 15. I do sometimes.
It says, and if he that sanctified will redeem.
If he that what?
Sanctified.
What else?
Redeem his house.
Redeem his what?
His house.
What else?
Then he shall add the fifth part of the money of thy estimation.
So now you see how he say, if he that sanctifies it redeems it. Now let's get Hebrews 2 and 11. Make it about 2 and 8. 2 and 7 even better. They finna trample you, new muffin.
Thou made him a little lower than the Malachim. Mm-hmm. Thou hast crowned him with esteem and honor, and did set him over the works of thy hands.
Yep.
Thou hast put all things in subjection under his feet. For in that he put all subjection under him, he left nothing that is not put under him. Mm-hmm. But now we see not yet all things put under him, but we see Yahushua, who was made a little lower than the Malachim for the suffering of death, crowned with esteem and honor, that he by grace of Elohim should taste death for every man.
Go ahead.
For it became him for whom all things, and by whom all things, in bringing many sons into esteem, to make the captain of their salvation
perfectly what?
Suffering.
Yes, sir.
For both he that sanctified
and he that sanctified
are all one.
Are all what?
For which cause he is not ashamed to call them brothers.
He's not ashamed to call you a brother once he's estimated that you should be sanctified. So guess who's the one who makes that? It says the priest makes that determination, right? So that means we need to look at something and tell me what Hebrews 8 and 1 says. We still got a lot more to go with Joash. If you spend a lot of time with him.
Now of the things which we have spoken, this is the sum.
What's the sum?
We have such a high priest who is set on the right hand of the throne of majesty in Shamaim, a minister of the sanctuary and of the true tabernacle, which Yahuwah pitched and not man.
And not man.
For every high priest is ordained to
For every what?
Every priest is ordained to offer.
Who is that? Who would be that priest that would be making this estimation in Leviticus? It would be Aaron. Go ahead.
Every high priest is ordained to offer gifts and sacrifices, wherefore it is necessary that this man having somewhere also to offer. For if he were on earth, he should not be a priest, seeing that there are priests that offer gifts according to the law, who serve unto the example and shadow of heavenly things. And Moses was admonished of Elohim when
To do what?
When he was about to make the tabernacle. For see, said he, that thou make all things according to the pattern shown
So
to thee in
what priesthood is Yahusha after? So this is how Yahusha is the one to make the determination if a man's house will be redeemed. He is the one that makes the estimation of whether you will be directed to damnation or salvation. He makes that determination. And he makes that determination based off of the word, searching your heart to see what's in it. Because the word will try every man. Give me Matthew 24 real quick, about verse 13. Hello, my friend.
It says, but he that shall endure to the end, the same shall be saved.
Go ahead.
And the Besor of the kingdom shall be preached unto all the world for
To all the what?
the world
For what?
a witness.
So that means all of them will get to hear it, and then what?
And then the end shall come.
So that means the end won't come until everybody's heart has been searched and been tried. Give me Revelation 14:1. Revelation 14:1.
It said, and I looked, and lo, a lamb stood on the Mount of Zion, and with him 140,000.
Drop the verse 4 then, because we got to roll.
It says, these are they which were not defiled with women, for
She almost did it.
they are virgins. These are they which follow the Lamb, whether so he go. These were redeemed from among men, being the first fruits of Elohim and to the Lamb.
Go ahead.
And in their mouth was found no guile, for they are without fault before the throne of Elohim. And I saw another Malachim fly in the midst of Shamahim, having the everlasting Besor.
Having the everlasting what?
Besor to preach unto them that dwell on the
To
earth.
preach unto who?
Them that dwell on the earth.
They got to get it. And what did he tell them to do?
And to every nation and kindred and tongue and
Every who?
kindred, nation, tongue,
Didn't it say in Timothy that his desire is that all men be saved? Come on.
saying with a loud voice, fear Elohim and give esteem to him, for the hour of judgment is come, and worship him that made Shamahim, earth and the sea, and the fountains of water.
Go ahead.
And there followed another Malachim.
Oh, that's good right there. So all of them got to hear it for their hearts to be searched. See, y'all can't search your heart until you actually heard the word and rejected it. Okay, you take an example. You bring the word to somebody who is homosexual or a fornicator or a whoremonger, it's going to show what's in their heart when they hear that word. You know what I'm saying? If somebody's proud, that word going to show it. If somebody's malicious, that word is going to show it. If that person bears a grudge or is bitter, whatever thing that's of the flesh that's in them, that word will pull it out. And then what they do with it once the word pull it out is going to be indicative of the direction that Yah will take them, whether he'll estimate whether you be good or whether he estimate whether you be bad. Because you can have some bitterness, but you might put it away. Then we read that in Ephesians, put all bitterness and clamor away. The man tell you to put all the stuff away. Before we proceed, give me Colossians chapter 3. What you doing, man?
Pull that charge out.
Colossians 3. Give me about verse 6. I ain't gonna be able to finish Leviticus 27.
It say, for which things sake the wrath of Elohim cometh on the children of disobedience.
Yeah.
And the which ye also walked sometime when ye lived in them, but now ye are also put off all these anger, wrath,
Put off what?
anger,
Wrath,
malice, blasphemy, filthy communication, out of thy mouth. Lie not one to another, seeing that ye have put off the old man with his deeds,
That's that inner. This calls you to be separated. Go ahead.
and have put on the new man which is renewed and knowledge.
And that's what you look at. You've been redeemed. Now you got the new house. Go ahead.
After the image of him that created him.
Remember now, you were born. You were made in the image of Elohim. Now you ought to walk and live in that image. Come on back to let's wrap this up in 2 Kings chapter 12 verse 13. Because the Hamite lady finna come get us in a minute.
2 Kings 1.
12 and 13. Children, sit down. Sit down. Sit down. Sit down.
It says, howbeit they were not made for the house of Yahuwah bowls of silver, snuffers, basins, trumpets, any vessels of gold or vessels of silver of the money that was brought
That's
to
why
the
you
house
need to
of
sit down.
Yahuwah. But they gave that to the workmen and repaired therewith.
They gave it to who?
The workmen.
Go ahead.
It says, but they gave, moreover they reckoned not with men unto whose hand they delivered
Hold
the
on.
money.
He said they didn't reckon with. We got to pull that with them. He said they didn't reckon with the men. She trying to get it, ain't it? When we look at reckon not, that word for reckon in this particular verse is kasab. That means to plan, to esteem, to calculate, to invent, to imagine, and to count. They were not considered to be a part of that. Go ahead. Listen what he said. He said, listen who they gave the money to. Listen to it.
It says, but they gave that, it said, moreover they reckoned not with men unto those whose hands they delivered the money to bestow on workmen, for they dealt faithfully.
Now give me 1 Corinthians chapter 4 verse 1. See, a lot of people, they don't get the money or the word because they're not faithful. That's why he say a priest can't preach for filthy lucre's sake. Because remember how we read earlier, them boys got the money, but then they didn't do the work, did they? They took the money and ran. We read that last night. They took the money and dipped. You know what I'm saying? And that's what he said. They said he didn't put the money in the hands of those who weren't counted amongst the ministry or the work, so to speak. He took the money and put it in the hands of faithful men. Hold that, sir. I shall retrieve this now. Thank you. Hands up. Hands up. Arms up. You got your walking shoes on, sir. Walk on over there. Ask your mother to tie your shoes, sir. Ask your mother to tie your shoes. Ask your mother to tie your shoes, sir. Go ahead, man. 1 Corinthians 4. Go get your shoes tied. Go get your shoes tied.
It says, let a man so account us as ministers of the Mashiach and stewards of the mysteries of Elohim. Moreover, it is required.
It is what?
Required
that a what?
That a man be found faithful.
It's a lot of people that they done took off. They done did just what we read about those men doing, those workmen on the house in here. They took the money and dipped. They weren't found faithful. It says that the king, and who remembers what Joash's name means? That's the one that means he's given of Yahuwah. The one that was given of Yahuwah, or sent by Yahuwah, put the money into men who he found to be faithful. He made that estimation that these men were faithful by their works. He said, you men who just coming to get something, I ain't count you upon that number. You're not a part of this. This is why they stood up and said, you have no lot, no part in this matter. You know what I'm talking about? Come on, man. But that's good, actually. Come back to 2 Kings 13. 12, I should say. Read verse 15 again, and we'll stop at verse 16.
It said, moreover, they reckoned not with men in whose hands they delivered the money to be bestowed on workmen, for they dealt faithfully.
Yep.
The trespass money and sin money was not brought into the house of Yahuwah.
It wasn't brought into the house. Who was it given to?
It was the priest.
And that's what we'll see most high willing when we finish Leviticus 27. That those offerings and things of that nature, that went to the priests. And there's a reason why it went to the priest. Because don't they tell you the priests that, don't they tell you Levites ain't never get a coin from nobody? That says differently, doesn't it? What we read in the law says differently too. We didn't finish Leviticus 27, especially with the estimation prices and how certain things were estimated, valued, and then it was transferred for money, and the priest kept it. Some of it couldn't be kept by the priest, some of it was for Yahuwah, and some of it went back to the person during the time of Jubilee. You know what I'm saying? And you just need to know the difference between, because there was some that was given to the priest, it was some that was for Yah, and it was some that went back to the person. Most High willing, we'll look at that throughout the course of next week's right. Hallelujah for Yahushua in the word. We'll start right here though.